That's gonna hurt.
Just a small town girl living around the world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going anywhere.
Hey, welcome to the Music Snob, where I know music, unless it sucks. And today I want to talk about a band that does not suck. I'm actually wearing this. Now, this, okay, I'm sure most people would prefer that just stayed up. Yeah, if you don't notice from the opening little thing there, usually I just ruin a song musically, but that time I ruined it vocally as well, because I want to talk about Journey, and at this point I can't really play anybody else's music on my little videos anymore, because I don't make any money on it, and they keep getting blocked by record company weasels. So what I want to talk about today, I wanted to talk about Journey for several reasons, besides the fact that they were awesome. Steve Perry's been putting out some new stuff lately, but what I was going to do a thing about just how there's great album covers, really good album covers. If you remember that Chris Cornell video, if anybody watched it, there's one album cover I would put on the wall. There's other ones, like Asia has great album covers, but I got to like Journey, and out of the, let's say 10, 15 albums they've done, there's like one or two that aren't cool enough to hang on my wall. Now, that's what I want to talk about today on the Music Snob. Not just the music at Journey, but the album covers and why they're great, and why jerks like me and people who don't even know who Journey is are buying t-shirts with Journey on them, because the brand name is better than the band itself. Well, not really, but it keeps the band going. So if you've been here before on the Music Snob, you're probably expecting me to play some music. It's not gonna happen. Today we're doing something completely different, which I've already explained. Let's talk about Journey. Journey they were huge when they were like, well, they haven't broken up, but they were huge in the 80s, but they'd become more recognized lately. Like Don't Stop Believin' was not a hit song when it came out, and yet now everybody can tell you how that song goes. It became like the most downloaded song on Spotify. Is it downloaded? It most streamed on Spotify after being in The Sopranos final episode. But there's so much more to this band. 25 gold and platinum albums. 1988's Greatest Hits, the first one they had, has sold 18 million copies worldwide. They have 19 top 40 singles. They have 100 million albums sold worldwide. What a juggernaut. And you can't, I know I'm not playing the music, but you can't deny, everybody knows Journey. Everybody's like the guy in Family Guy. Oh my God, is that Journey? If you're singing karaoke somewhere and you're doing a Journey song, everybody's like, oh my God, it's Journey. It doesn't even matter how terrible it is. You could get a guy from a karaoke video to become the lead singer, I guess. Not saying there's anything wrong with that. And you can still carry on and sell out arenas every freaking night, because that's how awesome Journey is. So here's the little biography from my notes. Journey, founded 1973, San Francisco. Originally, they wanted to be basically a backup band for all the established Bay Area recording artists. So they wanted to call themselves the Golden Gate Rhythm Section, which would have been great. They were formed... First of all, they had Neal Schon and Gregg Rolie, both of Santana. Neal Schon, of course, on guitar, Gregg Rolie on keyboards. Bass player Ross Valory of I gotta read this. Frumious Bandersnatch, great title, and a Steve Miller Band. Rhythm guitarist George Tickner, also of Frumious Bandersnatch. Also, Prairie Prince of the Tubes, the drummer from the Tubes. He eventually went back. Those are the guys that started Journey back in '73. The Bay Area rhythm, Golden Gate rhythm section. I'm sure they weren't the Bay Bridge rhythm section because if you're a local, you know what I mean. After one performance, they decided that they were just going to do their own thing instead of being a backup band because they were that good. And instead of going with the Bay Area, the Golden Gate, everything for me is Bay Area. Instead of going with the Golden Gate rhythm section, one of the roadies suggested Journey, and I hope he got a cut of that. Then they played one gig on New Year's Eve, 1973, to 10,000 people. What a good deal! And then they flew to Hawaii and they played to 100,000 people. Like they were going places. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not going to go through every change in band members, but at that point, Prairie Prince rejoined the Tubes, and they hired Ainsky Dunbar to play drums. And he had played with David Bowie and Frank Zappa. They played in front of a Columbia record company, Weasels, and they got a record deal, and then they just played around the Bay Area. Okay, so then they got their record deal. They were playing around Bay Area. Then their first album came out, 1975, and lo and behold, Journey, and number 138 on Billboard. Not a big seller. One single to play some music. I guess that's what they're doing. But look at this album cover. I guess that's just the guys kind of. I guess they're on a backdrop of the place where William Shatner fought the Gorn, I guess. And they look like they could be skateboarding, but there's no skateboard. So I don't know what the hell they're doing. But this one was not a great. I don't think that's a great album cover. That's just me. Maybe I'm the jerk. 1976. Look into the future, and you will see four guys' silhouettes in a room in a ball. Well, number 100 on Billboard, 2 singles on a Saturday night, and She Makes Me Feel All Right. That's good because nobody wants a girl that makes you feel bad. Do you? Just this album cover again. This is this one kind of goes against the whole point of this. It's interesting, but I don't think I would hang it on my wall. 1977. Next. 85 on Billboard. One single, Spaceman. But look at that. Those are, okay, first of all, what's with the guy with no mustache? What's his deal? And Neil Sean, man, how do you have an afro that big being a white guy? I'm sure he's not wearing a shirt. That's got to be just a vest. I'm sure maybe it's made out of, snakeskin. Not the best album cover. It's just, it gets better later. 1978, Infinity. This is where the cool album covers began. Look at that thing. That's cool. And let's talk about this. Okay, so this is the first album where Steve Perry was doing vocals. They had Wheel in the Sky, Feeling That Way / Anytime when it's played on the radio. Lights, number 21 on Billboard, 3 million copies. And okay, now we'll talk about the cover. Now, I'm not going to know who did every album cover. This one was done by, it was credited to 2 guys, Elton Kelly and Stanley Mouse. Elton Kelly was an American artist known for his psychedelic art. He founded the Berkeley Bonaparte Distribution Agency, and then him and Stanley worked there, and they created the Wings and the future stuff, the Beatles and such that are on a lot of the covers. They also contributed to the Grateful Dead had the Skull and Roses, and those guys, at least one of those 2 guys, worked on that as well. Stanley Mouse, if you're looking him up, was also known. His real name was Stanley George Miller, and then he went with Stanley Mouse. I don't know, but that there is a great album cover. It's still not the best of what they had, but that is a great album cover. And for me personally, I like a good package. Now, make up your joke for what I just said. I used to sit and I'd listen to the songs and I'd read the liner notes, and that's that's how I know Mutt Lange and I know Bob Rock, and I know these people: Mike Fraser, Bruce Fairburn, Bob Clearmountain. That's I remember those names. Those are the best mixers, the best players. I don't remember generally who made the album covers, because a lot of the albums that I've collected over the years are people that'll have a picture of their face and it's like, oh, this guy. But these two guys were onto something good with this album cover. 1979, Evolution, number 20 on Billboard. Jeez, it's starting to get better. 3 million in the U.S. You had the singles "Love and Touch" and "Squeezin'," "Just the Same Way," and "Too Late." Album art, same two guys. That is a great album. Now, again, it's not as cool as some of the stuff coming up, but that's really you get, what is that? Yeah, okay. So you got wings, you got a beard, and the little like an eyeball, maybe in the middle, and then what is that? Like it's got something orbiting it in a elliptical pattern. That's a great album cover. Also in 1979, "In the Beginning," which was their first compilation album, just had songs off their first three albums with the other vocalist before Steve Perry joined. And again, well, it's I guess it could be a combination of other previous album covers, but you got your wings. It's not really a beard. It says Journey. It says Journey twice, actually, in the beginning. And the year, 75 to 77. And it's got the little thing going around. But it's not the coolest. But later on. 1980, Departure. That's the first, I believe, with the Beetle. And of course, it's got, like, I guess that's the Earth up in the corner. And it's got the, something is in orbit. And then the Beetle and its wings are spread, and pretty cool. Departure. Now, top 10 on Billboard. Cover art, again, by Kelly and Mouse. Any Way You Want It. Walks Like a Lady, not Dude. Good Morning Girl. 3 million copies. Now, that's 3 albums in a row with 3 million copies, I believe. But again, well, if they're just the other videos I've done where I talk about, the band has a brand name, and that's what gets them the best logos. That's what gets people buying stuff. These guys had undeniably great art on their albums, and I guarantee I never got to see a Journey concert. I've listened to some. But I guarantee they have a great backdrop with their logo, and some of these pictures probably playing in the background. It's probably even animated. And that's why Journey is awesome. Also, in 1980, they did the soundtrack for a movie I've never heard of in my life, Dream After Dream, which is actually a Japanese fantasy film called, I can't pronounce this, Yumi no Ato. If I did pronounce that right, I deserve a delicious sandwich, a delicious cheese sandwich. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Please don't mock me. You can mock me for other things. There's plenty of ore in this mine. You know what I'm saying? Different. I don't know who did this one, but that just looks like it's a bird shaking some dust off, and it's 2 birds, I guess, and they're flying somewhere over the desert. 1981, Captured. That's actually, well, it's cool. It looks kind of like a spirograph. The beetle has a little beetle. It's like that. Is it Russian or whatever, the Russian doll, but it's a picture from above. So there's a big beetle, and then there's a smaller beetle, and a smaller beetle, and a smaller beetle, and they've been captured, I guess, because there's no one guy's biggest. Captured. Your first live album, number 9 on Billboard, 2 million copies. Well, that's less than 3. 1 single release, The Party's Over, Hopelessly in Love. I don't know if that's, I think that was like maybe a single release. Cover art attributed to Stanley Mouse only. So, still great. Also, 1981, Escape. This is the best of all of them, and this is the reason why I do this. Now, people have this thing on everything, and I would hang this on the wall. This is a great album cover. First of all, I love the way it's, okay, just look, well, not going to do a close-up. It's here. There it is. It says Journey, and then it's got Journey sideways, so that could throw people off. It's, like that. I have a shirt. Well, I've had a shirt that it's supposed to be Asian writing, but it basically says "Go fuck yourself." That's kind of the way this looks. Like if you look at, oh, it's Journey. Okay. Plus Escape looks like numbers, which is cool. But you got your Beetle is, I guess he's in space and he's escaping from that ball that was in several of the other covers. So good for that Beetle getting the hell out of that ball in space. Number 1 on Billboard. Well, what a surprise. 5 single, Don't Stop Believing. Who's Crying Now? Oh man, I remember the Solid Gold Dancers doing that one. Open Arms, Still I Ride, and even though I don't think it was a single, Stone in Love. You hear that? I love Stone in Love. It was one of the best songs ever recorded by Journey, and it's played every day on Old Guy Radio. And great song. 10 million copies, which is diamond status in America. Best-selling studio album by Journey, second only in sales to the greatest hits, the first greatest hits, and of course covered by Stanley Mouse. I sure hope I'm pronouncing that right. And I don't know if you knew this. Okay, are you old? Do you remember Atari? Have you played Atari today? I play Atari. I don't know if you watch some of my older videos where I got Atari stuff. Atari flashback stuff. Atari, there was a Journey arcade game. I'm sure you remember that. But Atari put out a Journey Escape game in 1982, which, you know what, I'm gonna have to try to find a little clip of it or something here, because there's no way to explain it without showing it. 1983, Frontiers. Now I didn't own Escape when I was a kid. My brother had it, so he had it on cassette, and I had my boom box with the two, and I recorded it, and I had it on a black one. This album, first of all, I bought a single for Separate Ways, and let's not talk about the video. What a bad video. Maybe I can find a clip of that. Frontiers. I had the single first, and then I got the single for Faithfully, and then I freaking bought the album. That's how dumb I am. And I had it on an actual LP. But look at this album cover. Oh, yeah, let's just talk about this album. Where the hell are we? Sorry. Frontiers, 1983, number 2 on Billboard. 4 singles: Separate Ways, Worlds Apart, Faithfully, After the Fall, and Send Her My Love. 6 million copies. Album covered by Jim Welch. Well, that's a different guy now. Jim Welch. And I don't know if you... Randy Jackson. I'm only bringing this up because it's a no for me, dog. Randy Jackson played bass on one song, but he later joined the band periodically as full-time bass player. But look at that album cover. That's it's like a... Is that like almost like a baby with a giant head? It almost looks like on Star Trek, those the guys from the very first episode, the big brain guys that were screwing around with Captain Pike. But I like this, and it's got like the like a robot face thing, or a Darth Vader-y thing, or Cylon. You know what I'm talking about. Great album cover, and I love, and again their logo, just the 3D. It looks like like if you went to a Rush show in the 80s. It looks like their lasers are showing Journey, but that probably wouldn't have happened. 1986, Raised on Radio, number 4 on Billboard, and 2 million copies. They had 5 singles: Be Good to Yourself, which I love, Suzanne, which I don't remember, A Girl Can't Help It, I'll Be All Right Without You, and Why Can't This Night Go On Forever. These are the singles. Cover art, now again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But they did. Last album, I would probably went with that guy again, Jim Welch. This one actually, it's a radio station in the middle of a skating rink. If you're Canadian, this was actually by Prairie Prince, the drummer that they had when they started, who was with the Tubes, and he went back to the Tubes. He came up with this album cover. I didn't know he was an artist. But it's pretty cool. Like, I like the two. Well, first of all, it's Journey Radio, GRNY Radio. It actually looks like a diner in the middle of the hockey rink, and it's been freshly plowed. And then you got the two radio towers with the electrical thingamajigger to say Raised on Radio. That is a great cover. I've never seen it on a shirt. 1988, Greatest Hits. That sounded dirty the way I said that. Greatest Hits. I love this album cover. Now, of course, you got your Beetle, you got your wings, you got a red ball and a blue ball. I don't know what any of this stuff means, but it's a cool album cover. 831 weeks on Billboard, 18 million copies. I think there's only two greatest hits albums with more copies sold. I think the Eagles and it's the only one I can think of. Maybe it's behind Back in Black and the Eagles' greatest hits. But great album cover, and I ruined that CD. Well, I ruined the cassette, then I ruined the CD, and then I bought another version. It's a great album cover, though. 1991. Now, after the greatest hits thing, I don't know if this is the same for everywhere, but in 1991, the ballad, which, well, I think I've seen the Beatles. This was a compilation album only released in Japan, and I don't believe you can get it anywhere else on the planet. But I love this, the hieroglyphic thingamajig, like it's like a wall of I don't know, a pyramid, and then you got, it's either a turkey. No, I think it's a beetle. It's a beetle crawling up the wall, or maybe this could be on the floor. I don't know. But that, if you've never seen this before, that's a good thing you watched this, because now you learned something about something you can't buy anyways. Well, you can get it off eBay. Maybe. 1996, Trial by Fire, the last album that had Steve Perry singing. Singles include When You Love a Woman, Message of Love. I'm reading this off the thing. If He Should Break Your Heart, and Can't Tame the Lion, which is it's probably a euphemism or something. Number 3 on Billboard. 1 million copies. Now that's it's less. But after the last couple of great album covers with, Prairie Prince, Stanley Mouse, the other guy's name I already forgot, and then Jim Welch. This one here is weird. First, you got a baby in a boat, and there's a woman with a bird's butt and a cat head. I don't know. And is that a beetle? No. I guess that's the Earth over there. Oh, you see, that's the Earth over there, and it's got the thing, and then like 2 people on a cloud throwing water down. I guess. I got nothing. I couldn't even find out who made this one. Maybe it was one of the kids. 2000, Arrival. That's okay. Well, first of all, this was the first album with Steve Augeri. You're gonna have to make a comment if I pronounce that wrong. Number 12 on Billboard. 2 album covers. Let's see here. Number 12 on Billboard. Cover art by Chris Moore. Now there's 2. There's the black one, and then there is a one with dirt on it. That's the one. That's the Lucas one. George Lucas. He decided to go back and fix that cover art, so he CGI'd in a bit of the dirt or the sand over the side of it to make it look. It's a reference to Star Wars. Think about it. Anyways, personally, I think I like the first one. It's I like black. I'm a black colored. I like black. It's essentially, it is. I'm just kind of going back and forth. It's essentially, I'll put one here and one here. But it's essentially the same one. It's just one. I don't know why there's 2 of them. 2005, Generations. Steve Augeri. Augeri? He did this one album as well, so he did 2 albums. And then he left. Number 170 on Billboard. Mixed at the Warehouse Studio in Vancouver by Mike Fraser. I've never talked about that guy before. I live in Vancouver. Wow. Well, I don't know who. I couldn't find out who did all the album covers, but it's sort of I think that's a beetle. It almost looks like a little face in there, but I don't think so. I think it's in space, and it's I don't know. I don't know. But again, pretty cool. Hey, 2008, Revelation. Just one Revelation, not several. So first with Arnel Pineda, 1 million copies. That's a cool logo, or a cool. so it's the beetle, but something's burning his ass. Is that a soap dish? A soap dish with a flame, and a beetle. And yeah, 2011, Eclipse. Looks like an eclipse. Oh, cool. You know what I noticed? Right away, first thing, Eclipse has a 1 and a 5 and a 3. So it's kind of like Escape, that they've kind of made the little numbery thingy. And I like that. That's definitely, it's a Beatle with a throwing star or something coming out of him, and he's eclipsing. 2 singles, City of Hope and Human Feel. Now let's just talk about this. Sold less than 100,000. So the people, okay, so every night Journey can play a sold out arena, but yeah, people want to hear the Steve Perry songs. You put out a couple albums without Steve Perry, I bet they aren't even playing them live. They might be playing some. But that is almost a return to form for their covers. But how many people have that on a shirt? 2011, Greatest Hits 2, which it's essentially the same as Greatest Hits, except instead of maroon, it's blue. And it has a 2 on the blue ball. And I think the red ball was at the top of the other one. But it's more or less is the same. I think, is it the same? Let's go back and look at that. Yeah. It's more or less. I'll put them both up here and we can critique it together. Pretty much this is the same as Greatest Hits, but they had a second CD where they had added other songs that were not on the first Greatest Hits. But after ruining, like, I played the other one 500 times, well, more than that. So I wore it out and I bought this one because it's basically I was replacing the one I had with this one. So still got all the great Journey songs. 2019, Live in Japan 2017. So, okay. And it's got the old logo. Now, if you remember doing my top 20 choices of logos. That was the old logo that they put on this thing. But it's kind of a combination of some of the first albums. I like how it has Escape on there and Frontier. So what were they? I'm guessing, I've never heard this, that they played Escape and Frontiers in their entirety, as well as probably some other tunes. But cool album cover. 2022. This is 2 years ago now. Freedom, baby. Great album cover. Now, again, you got a Beatle. It almost looks like he's holding a ball, and then he's holding another ball. Maybe he's got the whole world in his hands. It's the Beatle. It's sort of wingy. It's different. It's got maybe another older version of the Journey logo, but it's pretty cool. So let's recap. First album, second album, third album, fourth album, pretty good. Fifth album, pretty good. Sixth album, seventh album. I'm sorry. Okay, then the Japanese anime thing. I don't know if it's anime. And it Captured. That's pretty good. That's a cool one. Now, see, this to me, your album art is tied into how great the music is. So, yeah, you can have great music with just like Garth Brooks put out great albums, but it's just Garth Brooks pretty much everything. It's Garth Brooks doing this. Hey, you like my horses? That to me is a boring album cover. The music speaks for itself. But Journey, everything. The package is everything with these guys. And I would say that is one of the reasons that they're able to continue touring and selling out arenas every night for almost 30 years since Steve Perry left. And, Escape. Come on. That Escape is their best. It is hands down the best. The two guys who came out, or maybe it was just Stanley Mouse again, I'm not sure, came up with that. Just, if they had like a gallery, I would probably consider going, and I am white trash at the best of times. That's the best you could say. It's white trash. I have no taste in anything. I'm a music snob. But am I an art snob? Yeah, I like what I like. And I love this. And you know what? Frontiers, great album cover, and I love the colors. But going forward, Raised on Radio is still pretty cool, but it doesn't speak to me the same way the other two do. The Greatest Hits, the weird compilation from Japan, and then the Trial by Fire, man. But Arrival, great. Both covers. Generations kind of looks cut and pasted to me. Oh yeah. Greatest hits 2. I don't know. Let's just. I'm gonna stay. Freedom's pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna say those are pretty good. All in all, let's just say this. Pardon my chair. I'm not farting. Journey is one of the best bands that ever existed. And Neil Sean, yeah, he's the only guy left, original. People come, they come, they go. It's kind of one of those things where Fleetwood Mac existed for like 7 or 8 albums before Christine McVie and Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks came in and made it what it was. AC/DC did great. Before Bon Scott passed away and they went with Brian Johnson, they still did great. And they had a great logo. And people went to see with Axl Rose. But, Journey, the heyday to me, when Steve Perry was in that band and the guys that were with him in the band at the time, that was Journey. And it will always be Journey to me. Whatever is going on right now is not Journey to me. So for me personally, I would not go. But I would still buy knockoff t-shirts with their album covers on them. And I still buy the greatest hits. And I still actually listen to what Steve Perry's putting out because he is a vocal god. So anyways, kids, I'm sorry if this was too long as usual. If you made it this far, do me a favor. If you actually like this, like it. If you really, really like it, subscribe. Don't forget to share. And I'm never going to do a music snob about share. I'm just not going to happen. But share is a treasure. And if you have, I'm going to be doing more. Well, depends how many people actually watch this. I have some other ones I want to talk about. Asia's got some great album covers. There's a bunch of bands that have some great album covers. There's some where it's just crap, so I'm not going to talk about them. But there's some I want to talk about. So stay tuned. Who knows? It could happen. Gotta kill time somehow. Anyways, thank you for watching
The
Music
Snob.
where I know music, unless it sucks.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.